What's up, everybody? I'm Eureka John, and thank you so much for allowing me to participate in this DAO Punks grant program. I'm trying really hard to move completely into Web3, out of the meat space, out of the corporate lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. I just want to be a full-time Web3 contributor, and specifically, I want to do crypto journalism. So, in order to understand my crypto journey, I will start out with some of my seemingly chaotic and multifaceted background. I grew up in a pretty chaotic household. My well-meaning parents, they adopted 6 kids that they saw on a local evening news program called Waiting Child when I was about 9 years old. And the premise of Waiting Child was it was a program that helped kids find homes. My parents, their heart went out to these kids, and they applied, and they weren't expecting a response back, but they eventually got a response. And then a few months later, 6 kids showed up at our doorstep, and there were already 3 kids in our family, 3 boys. So we became 9 kids. And this was pretty chaotic, and my parents had 0 time. So, as a result, our house was extremely chaotic, and I was basically just coping during my childhood years. Total Gen Xer, latchkey kid, but I try not to be angry about it. But anyway, my older brother, he rebelled, and he became a punk rocker in the 80s. And he had the mohawk, the combat boots, the studded jacket, the attitude, and the consistent gang of punk friends that came seeking shelter from the streets to come hang around our house. And we had a half pipe in the backyard and everything like that. So all this had a huge influence on me. I fell in love with the anti-establishment skateboarding lifestyle and dove into the skate punk scene in my neighborhood, spending as much time in the street as I could and as little time at my house as possible, except just to skate in the backyard. So I had a pretty negative view of authority, and I found my cause in anti-censorship. So anything that seemed to stand against censorship and central authority was immediately appealing to me. So in middle school, it was the skaters versus the preps. In high school, I created an underground newspaper that we called the Blunt Bureau to poke fun at the authorities in charge of the school, make fun of the jocks, to publish dirty jokes and stuff like that. And that was pretty fun, but I got suspended for it, long-term suspension. But I eventually graduated, not with stellar marks or anything, but whatever, I made it through. In my early 20s, I became obsessed with religion, ironically, right? And specifically the rebellious early church, persecuted by the Romans, though. So this led me to study religion in college, where I became completely obsessed with it. And then it landed me in seminary in New York City afterwards from Houston, Texas. And that's where I did graduate studies, and I learned Greek and Hebrew. And that's where my name Eureka John comes from. Eureka is derived from the Greek word eurekos, which means to discover something. So, again, the early church was censored and persecuted for expressing any source of authority over that of the Roman Empire. So they were heavily censored. And then, in seminary and afterwards in my 30s, I created and ran a pirate radio station called Brand Name Radio, using an FM transmitter and the internet radio technology through RSS at the time. I was heavily influenced by that movie Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater in it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It is definitely an amazing movie. Anyway, that radio station was mainly a technical experiment, and it focused on artists who did not have the clout of funding to get on a large label. That was important to me. So I aspired to give them airtime, and I was eventually unable to sustain that due to paying expensive licensing and royalty fees that never even went to the artists I played on my shows. So, I was basically paying for Metallica and Madonna, and the obscure local artists that I played didn't receive a dime. So after that, I created some skateboarding zines and formed an electro punk band that I called Lasers, just to be in a band. I don't know. It was fun, But anyway, so in sum, finding outlets for my creative energy has always been a priority. However, I also had to pay bills. So I found a job in the manufacturing industry on a sales desk. My parents had a business as well. And, before I knew it, 16 years working in the industry, and somehow I left my family business and ended up at a propane hose plant. And all that time had flown by, and I found myself completely devoid of creativity. I'd lost myself for the monotony of making money to pay bills, and most of my days had become wearing khaki pants and golf shirts and small talking at trade show booths and basically getting obliterated at night. It was absolutely soul sucking. So 2018 was the first time I'd actually heard about crypto. At first, I was just poking around, scrounging around, trying to find a way to support my, by then, full-blown alcoholism, physical addiction and all, and so I was just using crypto trading as a way to score some extra beer money. But in 2019, after some health issues and just feeling totally burnt out, I decided I just really needed to quit drinking and do something to change my life trajectory at that point. So I channeled all my anxious creative energy into researching crypto and getting back on my skateboard. And so I really started to understand that crypto and blockchain was way more than number go up. It's a complete paradigm shift. It's not just about cashing out. So I found my way into alternative finance systems through things like Aave and Compound. And I finally began to understand the meaning of a decentralized operating system and decentralized finance, those things that are built on Ethereum and what Ethereum was about. And I decided to take the full plunge into it on October 24th, 2020, when I flipped on the YouTube switch on my own YouTube channel that I called Eureka Street Crypto Hub at the time. There was no hub about it. It was just me alone in my awkward thoughts and my curiosity about something that no one else around me in my neighborhood or community or family really gave two shits about. So, I had a Bankless newsletter subscription at the time. So I received that bank airdrop, which led me to go into the Discord server for the Bankless DAO. And there I met some like-minded people, and my real community-focused crypto journey began. And that's where I met many of you. And there's the start. There's my crypto origins.